15 weeks. That's all the time he had. Women everywhere can't let it go. And there's a reason for that. What if I told you that one Facebook post might have saved them all? Would you believe me? Let me take you back to the beginning. Shannon wasn't supposed to have more babies. At least, that's what doctors told her. She had lupus, a disease that attacks your own body. Having Bella in 2013 was a miracle. Having Celeste in 2015 was another one. But she wanted one more. She prayed for one more. Our rainbow baby boy, she wrote on Facebook. Nico Lee, you're already loved. Can you imagine that kind of hope? That kind of faith after everything she'd been through? She posted ultrasound pictures with little blue hearts. She shared her excitement with thousands of followers. Her Thrive business was growing. Her family seemed perfect in every video. 2 beautiful daughters dancing in a living room. A husband who smiled at the camera. A baby boy growing inside her. 15 weeks along. Strong heartbeat. Everything looked perfect from the outside. But what if I told you that behind those smiles, something dark was growing? Something that would destroy everything. June 2018. That's when Chris met her. A coworker. I won't say her name because this isn't about her. This is about Nico. But that's when things started changing. Shannon noticed at first. He hasn't touched me all week, she texted her friend. August 7th, 2018. I just want to cry. Can you feel that? The confusion? The hurt? Here she was, 15 weeks pregnant with his son. And he wouldn't even touch her. She went to North Carolina for a week. August 8th through 12th. Took the girls to visit family. Try to give him space. Try to figure out what was wrong. In those videos from North Carolina, you can see her belly. Small but definitely there. She's playing with Bella and Celeste. Laughing. Trying to hold it together. One more baby to complete us, she wrote. She still had hope. Even when he grew cold. Even when he stopped saying, I love you. Even when something in her gut told her things were very wrong. August 13th. 1:48 in the morning. Her phone pings a friend. I'm home. The front door closes behind her. And nothing would ever be the same. What happened in those next few hours? That's the question that haunts everyone. The doorbell camera caught her coming home. You can see her dragging her suitcase, tired from the flight, probably excited to sleep in her own bed. Around 4 in the morning, they talked. He told her about the affair. Finally admitted it. Can you imagine? 15 weeks pregnant. 2 babies asleep down the hall. And your husband tells you he's been with someone else. The autopsy would later show bruises on her neck. Signs that she fought. That she tried to survive. For herself. For her daughters. For Nico. But he was stronger. And when Bella came into the room asking, is mommy sleeping? He didn't stop. The little girls who trusted him completely. Who called him daddy. Who had no idea what monsters could look like. They went quiet too. 5:27 in the morning. The security camera at the house catches his truck leaving. All 4 of them inside. Shannon, Bella, Celeste, and Nico. The drive to the oil site took about 45 minutes. 45 minutes where Nico's heart was still beating. Still connected to his mother. Still alive in the only world he'd ever known. Do you want to know what happened next? As a parent myself, this was one of the hardest pieces of case I've ever had to research. Please subscribe. It encourages me to keep bringing you more details about this case. We're committed to bringing you the truth, even when it's heartbreaking. The autopsy report came out November 19th, 2018, 3 months after the crime. The medical examiner's words are hard to read, but they're important. Because this is Nico's story, and someone needs to tell it. Shannon was 15 weeks pregnant. 2nd trimester. That means Nico had fingers and toes. He could move. His heart was pumping blood. About 150 beats per minute. Twice as fast as an adult's. The report says the fetus was largely decomposed. That it had been expelled from the uterus. They found him protruding from his mother's body, covered in sandy dirt from the shallow grave. He was still attached to the placenta. Still connected to the mother who wanted him so badly. The prosecutor called it inhumane. Shanann's father said Chris treated them like trash. And that's exactly what the evidence showed. A mother and her unborn son, thrown into a hole, covered with dirt, left in the Colorado heat, while two little girls were stuffed into oil tanks. Nico never felt sunlight on his face, never heard his mother's voice from the outside, never knew that thousands of people were already praying for him. He never had a chance. Does that make you angry? It should. August 16th, 2018, 3 days after they disappeared. That's when they found the bodies. Chris had already been lying to everyone. To Shanann's friends who knew something was wrong. To the police who showed up at his door. To the cameras that captured his fake tears. I just want them home, he said. But he knew exactly where they were. He put them there. When they found Shanann, they found Nico with her. The girls were pulled from the oil tanks, 8 feet deep in crude oil. It took hours to recover them. November 19th, 2018. Chris was sentenced. 5 life sentences. No chance of parole. Plus 48 years for unlawful termination of a pregnancy. That charge was for Nico, the boy who never breathed. The law recognized him as a victim because he was. The funeral happened September 1st. 3 coffins. Shanann was buried with Nico. They're together now, the way she wanted them to be. Her parents started a foundation to raise awareness, to help other families, to make sure Nico's story meant something. But here's what gets me. Here's what keeps me up at night. Why don't more people talk about Nico? Why does everyone focus on adults and the girls? I get it. Bella and Celeste had faces we can see, voices we can hear in videos. They were real to us in a different way. But Nico was real too. At 15 weeks, his heart was syncing with his mother's heartbeat. They were connected in the most beautiful way. When her heart raced with fear that night, did his race too. When she took her last breath, did something in him know? Science says maybe. Research shows fetuses respond to their mother's stress hormones. They feel what she feels. So in those final moments, Nico might have felt everything. The fear, the betrayal, and then nothing. Shanann posted about him constantly. Our little fighter. Can't wait to meet you. Praying for a healthy baby boy. Those posts are still up. You can go read them right now. Thousands of comments from people who never met her, who never met Nico, but who grieve for them anyway. In 2025, 7 years later, her posts still go viral. Because this story won't let us go. Why do you think that is? Let me tell you what the prosecutor said in court. He talked about how Chris showed no mercy, how he had multiple chances to stop. After Shanann, he could have stopped. After Bella, he could have stopped. But he didn't. He erased his entire family, including the son who had no voice, no way to fight back, no way to even understand what family meant. The prosecutor asked for the harshest sentence possible, and he got it. But here's the thing that haunts me. Shanann saw the signs. She texted about them. He's been distant. He won't talk to me. Something's wrong. Her friends told her to trust her gut. Some said leave. Some said fight for the marriage. But by August 13th, it was already too late. Could anything have saved them? Could one person paying closer attention have changed everything? Could one phone call have given her the exit she needed? We'll never know. And that's the tragedy. Not just what happened, but what could have been prevented. Let me paint you a picture of what should have been. January 2019. Shanann should have been in a hospital, holding a baby boy with dark hair and blue eyes. Bella and Celeste should have been fighting over who got to hold him first. Chris should have been cutting the umbilical cord, taking a million pictures, posting on Facebook about his son. Nico should have cried his first cry, felt his mother's warmth, learned what love felt like. He should have had birthdays, first steps, first words, first day of school. Instead, he got 15 weeks in the womb, an eternity in a grave. That's what was stolen. Not just a pregnancy, not just a fetus, an entire human life. A boy who would have been 7 years old this year. playing with toys, learning to read, making his sisters laugh. Does that make it more real for you? It should, because Nico was real as any of us. He just never got the chance to prove it. Shanann's parents did something beautiful after the funeral. They forgave Chris, not because he deserved it, but because holding on to hate would destroy them too. They chose to honor Shanann's memory differently, through love, through advocacy, through making sure people know the warning signs. They talk about Nico sometimes. Our grandson, they call him. The baby we never got to meet. They keep his memory alive, along with his mother and sisters. And that matters, because every life matters, even the ones that never got to fully begin. Do you know what the last thing Shannon posted about Nico was? August 11th, 2018, 2 days before she died. He's kicking so much now. Strong little man. She was so proud, so full of hope, so in love with a baby she'd never hold. That post has thousands of reactions now, mostly sad faces and broken hearts, because we all know what happened next. We all know that strong little man never got to show his strength, except maybe in one way. His story woke people up, made them pay attention, made them realize that domestic violence doesn't always look like bruises and black eyes. Sometimes it looks like distance, cold shoulders, emotional withdrawal. And by the time you realize what's happening, it might be too late. So what do we do with Nico's story? How do we honor a life that never got to be lived? We talk about it. We share it. We make sure that when people hear about the Watts family tragedy, they don't forget the fourth victim, the smallest one, the one without a voice. We learn the warning signs. We trust our guts. We reach out to friends who seem off. We ask the hard questions. We create safe spaces for people to leave dangerous situations. We remember that every pregnancy represents a whole future, a whole person, a whole world of possibilities. And when someone takes that away, they're not just ending a pregnancy. They're erasing a life. Nico's heart beat for 15 weeks, 105 days, 2,520 hours, 151,200 minutes, 9,072,000 seconds. Every single one of those seconds mattered. Every single one of those heartbeats was a moment of life. And then it stopped. Not because of disease, not because of accident, but because someone chose violence over love, death over life, darkness over light. I want you to imagine something with me. Close your eyes if you need to. Imagine Shanann in that moment on May 29th, holding that pregnancy test. Her hands probably shaking, her heart probably racing, all that hope flooding through her. We did it, she's thinking. One more baby. Our family is complete. She's already planning the nursery, already imagining what he'll look like, already falling in love. Now imagine that same woman 11 weeks later, lying in a shallow grave, that hope buried with her, that love extinguished, that future erased. And imagine Nico, never knowing warmth outside the womb, never knowing his mother's face, never knowing that he was wanted, loved, prayed for. That contrast is what breaks my heart. The distance between that joy and that tragedy, between that hope and that grave, between that future and that ending. It's too much, too cruel, too senseless. And yet it happened. It's real. It's documented. It's part of our history now. You know what the medical examiner wrote in his report? Something that stuck with me. He described finding the fetus partially expelled from the uterus, covered in sandy material. And he noted that this was consistent with a mother's body trying to protect the pregnancy even after death. Even after death, Shanann's body was still trying to protect her baby, still trying to be a mother, still trying to save him. But there was no saving him. Because when Chris chose to take Shanann's life, he took Nico's too. They were connected, inseparable. One life depended entirely on the other, and both were stolen in the same act of violence. That's why the feticide charge mattered, not just as a legal technicality, but as recognition. Recognition that Nico was a victim, that his life had value, that his death deserved justice. 48 years added to the sentence specifically for him. It doesn't bring him back. Nothing can. But it says his life mattered. His story mattered. He mattered. Let me tell you about the vigil. Thousands of people showed up. People who never met the Watts family. People from all over the country. They brought candles, flowers, teddy bears, and so many of them brought blue balloons. For Nico. For the baby boy who never got to see a balloon. Never got to watch one float away. Never got to laugh at something so simple and beautiful. They released those balloons into the Colorado sky. Hundreds of them. A sea of blue rising up. Each one representing a prayer, a hope, a wish that somehow, somewhere, Nico knows he was loved. That his short life meant something. That people cared. I don't know if you believe in heaven. I don't know if you believe in an afterlife. But I hope there's somewhere that Shannon got to finally hold her son. Somewhere that Bella and Celeste got to meet their baby brother. Somewhere that he got to open his eyes. Take a breath. Feel safe. Feel loved. Feel whole. Because he deserved that. They all did. It's been 7 years now. 7 years since that August night. 7 years since 4 lives were taken. And the world keeps spinning. People keep living. Most days, most people don't think about the Watts family. But some of us can't forget. Some of us carry this story with us. Not because we're morbid. Not because we love tragedy. But because these were real people. Real lives. Real us. And Nico represents something important. He represents every potential that was stolen. Every future that was erased. Every dream that died before it could begin. He represents the innocent, the voiceless, the forgotten. And I refuse to let him be forgotten. You're watching this video right now. That means you're part of keeping his memory alive. That means you're acknowledging that his life mattered. Even if it was only 15 weeks. Even if he never took a breath. Even if the world never got to meet him. He was here. He existed. He was loved. And that has to mean something. So here's what I want you to take away from this. Here's why Nico's story matters in 2025. First, trust your instincts. If something feels wrong, it probably is. Shannon knew something was off. She texted about it. She worried about it. But she didn't know how bad it was until it was too late. Second, check on your people. That friend who's been quiet, call them. That family member who seems distant, visit them. That coworker who's suddenly different, ask them if they're okay. You might be the lifeline someone needs. Third, understand that domestic violence doesn't always announce itself. It can be quiet, subtle, hidden behind smiles and social media posts. It can be happening to someone who seems to have it all together. Someone who seems happy. Someone who seems safe. Fourth, remember that every pregnancy is a person, a future, a possibility. When violence takes that away, it's not just ending a pregnancy. It's ending a life. And that life deserves to be mourned, remembered, honored. Finally, let Nico's story change you. Let it make you more aware, more compassionate, more willing to speak up, more willing to help. Because maybe, just maybe, that's how we prevent the next tragedy. That's how we save the next family. That's how we honor the ones we've lost. I started this video with a question. Do you remember? I asked if you knew about the victim no one talks about. Now you know. Now you know Nico's story. The 15-week-old boy who never had a chance. The son Shannon prayed for. The brother Bella and Celeste never got to meet. The future that was buried in a Colorado grave. His heart beat for 105 days. And then it stopped. Not because his body failed. Not because something went wrong naturally. But because someone chose to end it. Someone who should have protected him. Someone who should have loved him. Someone who should have celebrated his existence. Instead, that someone erased him. Like he never mattered. Like 15 weeks of life meant nothing. But it meant everything. To Shannon, it meant everything. To her family, it meant everything. And now to you, I hope it means something too. Because Nico was real. Nico mattered. Nico deserved better. They all did. I want to close with something Shannon wrote. One of her last posts about Nico. I can't wait to meet you, little man. You're already so loved. She never got to meet him. But she loved him anyway. With every fiber of her being. With every hope in her heart. With every dream for the future. That's what a mother's love looks like. And that love didn't die in that grave. It lives on in every person who hears this story. Every person who shares it. Every person who decides to be more aware. More compassionate. More willing to act. Shanann's love for Nico becomes our responsibility now. To remember him. To tell his story. To make sure his short life meant something. So if this video moved you, share it. Talk about it. Let people know that Nico existed. Let people know that his life mattered. Let people know that domestic violence destroys more than we can see. It destroys futures, possibilities, dreams, and sometimes it destroys them before they even have a chance to begin. For Shannon, for Bella, for Celeste, and for Nico, the boy who never breathed but whose story still echoes. Thank you for listening. Thank you for caring. Thank you for remembering. Their lives mattered. All four of them. And now you're part of making sure the world never forgets.